Hello. Hello. Can everyone move, those standing back there, can you move further in to the tent so the ones standing in the corner there can have better room? So if everyone here can move the ones who are standing. Welcome everyone to this SAP Sailing Analytics debrief. It's good to see that so many of you join us today. I guess it has nothing to do with the weather outside. We had two good races today. A little less wind than we had on Wednesday. A little bit more shifty, and in the end everyone was on the left side. We have a panel with us here. We have Thijs Palm from Falcon. We have Morten Tenvik from Caron. And we have Rasmus Køstner from SAP Extreme Sailing Team. He's probably one of the guys or the team that had worked most with SAP Analytics, and that's why we asked him to join the panel, because he's going to show you some of the things that he looks at when he's using the sailing analytics, and we have chosen that he shows Caron and Falcon. But first, I think it's polite to ask Morten first, since he had a really nice day. They were first on the top mark, way ahead of everyone else. And you guys were the boat that went most left, I guess. Can you tell us a little bit more about the strategy, the plan you had before the first day?
Well, the plan was quite simple. Try and start, of course, first, before everyone else, from the middle, and between the middle and down to the pin. And then go left. I think the last Wednesday we went further out to the left, and then we ended up too far left. So we actually followed the shift, and we went before the ley line, and so to say, and we had good speed as well today, so that helped us.
Why do you think the left side was favored?
Well, you have to ask the tactician. No, seriously, we thought that the currents and the winds looked more favorable, and also it was a pin favored, we figured out, so that's why we went there.
Yeah, we were out with the SAP rib after the race because we wanted to measure the current. And when we were driving on that side, the water felt flatter. There were not that much waves. So when in the middle or on the right side of the course, when we were going upwind with the rib, it was really choppy and huge waves. But on the left side, it was almost flat.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was also.
So I guess it was easier to keep the boat going out on the left side.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Because current-wise, the current was more or less the same all day at the left side as it was this morning, and we wanted actually to see if the river had any effect. So we took some measure from Strømtangen, who's the lighthouse, and all the way across to the other side to Hvaler, and the current was the same all the way. So it didn't build up. It wasn't more current on the left side, but it was current there, but it was the same all the way. You guys, you also wanted to go left, but you wanted it too much.
We was a little bit too quick in the first race. I think we was about a meter over the line, but we really want to chase that side because of. I mean, if you try to analyze the 6 first races and the wind is from southwest to south, then it really have been a 90-10% to go to the left. So today was a day where we want to go, but suddenly in the first race we was a little bit too quick over the line. So, but I mean, we met these guys halfway up, and we could really see that there was a big gain on the left side. But it's hard to find out if it's the current and what it is. I mean, I really tried to sort that up during the week here, but generally it's left trend wind shift, and especially in the first race, it came really much left compared to when we started measuring from just before the start and during the race.
Yeah, it's almost every leg this week has been left. I see also when the boats that are picking the right side, when they tack in on in the middle of the course and then go to the left, and the boats from the left have stacked and go to the right, you are actually gaining even more on the top of close to the top mark. So
yeah, that's right. I mean, it's lifting all the way up to the marks. So probably the island have some effect on turning the wind to the left because of it's blowing most 90 degrees out from the shoreline.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like I said earlier, we have Rasmus from SAP Extreme Sailing Team. They are using Sailing Analytics, and I have asked him to show how he would approach the software. And you have picked, is it Coron first or?
Yeah, first of all, thanks a lot for the invitation. It's here we go. Yeah, are we going now? Hello.
Hello.
No. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, way back on. It's been a while since I've been in a keel boat, but I have definitely sailed a lot. That's in keel boats. That's my main background. But lately, it's been with the change after the COP in Valencia that I did with Mascal Sono Latino together with Jes Graham Hansen. Then professional sailing took a big change, and on that path we moved on to the catamaran. So the last 6 years, Jes and I, we have sailed on the Extreme Sailing Series. So we have done a lot of work to step into a performance class where now we are doing 3 times the speed of what we were used to, and it's been a bit of a journey, but we really enjoy sailing the GC32 now on the Extreme Sailing Series, and we built that team from scratch after the COP in 7, and one of the approaches that we had was that we really wanted to have technology as a key thing in our team, because we understood that there's a lot we needed to learn. So we were lucky enough to have SAP as a main sponsor on the Extreme Sailing Series, and we have really worked a lot with their technology and also helped develop this Sailing Analytics with them. And when we are sailing 1 hour on the Extreme Sailing Series, then we are at least using 1 hour to prepare using either analytics or video debrief. So there's a lot you can learn, and I think one thing that is important for all of us, no matter what boat we are sailing, is that we want to improve. And a really important thing in improving is that you need to understand your performance, and with that, it's a good tool, and you just need to look into some of the details. So I'll try and see if I can just help you a little bit. You have 1 more day of racing, so hopefully there's some of the tricks you can use already for tomorrow. But yeah, I'll just spend a couple of minutes, and then we look into some of the details from today. That's the thing with the technology. You have to be a little patient sometimes. But this is the website that you might know, SAP Sailing, and then you already have seen this, I'm sure. So here we go. I think there are two ways to approach a way to analyze your sailing. Either you approach it with a general approach, where you're looking at all the different races in one go and look at some of the details. So if we just look into some of the series here, then yeah, let's look at the Caron that are ranked 9 here. So you can tell that here's a couple of 10, 15 places, and then we have a couple of good races here. So an easy way to look into some of the details here is by pressing on the plus you see up on the leaderboard. So you get more details on how the racing has been. So here we can say that see that the good couple of races here for Caron was you've been you've been leading from the beginning, and that's quite often what you see, isn't it? That some of the podium positions they are decided already in the start. But whatever team you are here, then it's very easy to see what your position is on the different legs. That's the L in the top. So leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you can get an overview from race to race. You can see a little bit how stable you are, and if you are a team that is good at starting, and then you're losing some points around the track. And it's a very easy approach to highlight where you might be able to gain some points. Also, what you see is, and that's a general feature for all the SAP Analytics, that's in the settings, or this wheel up here, you can detail your analytics a little bit. And from the top, it's the races. Then there's some overall details that might not be so interesting. And in the race details, that's also for the whole race. So you'll see that on all of them. One thing that I think is interesting is the when you get into the leg details. Then I think the one here called rank gain. That's if you're losing or gaining points around the track. There are others like some of the start details up here in the start analysis. We can look at. I'll look in it in the detail as well. But if you're just looking for an overview on all the races, then I think you can tick this one off called distance to the line at start. Everybody knows that upwind starts, it's very important to be close to the line. It's also important with the speed, but the speed we'll look in more detail later. But if you want to make this a default, then this button down here, make sure that every time you log on and every time you open it, then you'll have the same setting. Which makes it a little bit quicker. What we can see here now is that now we have the distance to the line also, and that's interesting to see if it's actually you can sort it with. Now I sorted it from the boat with the shortest distance to the line if they are also performing well. So you can tell there's a little bit of a gap. It's not necessarily the boat that are closest to the line winning the race, but at least there might be an interval where you are 10-15 meters away from the line that are good, and for sure we can see some boats in some of the races that might struggle with the distance to the line, and that's of course an easy thing to at least work on. It's not easy to do, but I guess you kind of get the picture on this overall approach. And then I think we just dive straight into the races, and we can look at the races we had today. So when on the right here you press the race details, then you have 4 choices. Either you can play a full replay and then you can see the whole race. You can also press replay, so the second one, and that's actually giving you the setup where you get many of the same features that I just showed you on the overall. So, but specifically for one race. And then you have a good feature. I think we all know that the start is important. So here you jump straight into looking at the speed at the start. So I just need to make sure that we can see what we're doing here and zoom in a little bit. Then we talked about how the speed is important. In this was the first one of today, which yeah, you were pushing the line a lot. So I just down very low here. You see the time slider. So we take it back to the actual time of the start, and as we can see here, there's some of the leading boats that are very close to the line. What I wanted to show you was this feature with the speed, because that's this competitor chart, and when we have marked the competitors out on the left hand side, then you can see the graph of the speed of the boats, so you can tell how fast you're going and how your acceleration phase is. So I think that's one feature that you easily could have a look at some of the good starts, then try and see if you can replicate that acceleration phase of the boat and try and learn it a little bit more. Maybe the tracking quality here isn't good enough for picking up small details like that in this, but at least this is something you'll see in the future, where the quality of the tracking is getting better and better. Then you can work more on trying to get this acceleration phase the same, because as we know, it's very hard to hit the line precisely if you accelerate very far away and have a high speed approaching the line. So you need to be confident with your distance to the line and when to accelerate. So and that's really a good way of understanding how your acceleration phase have been to the line. The last one was one called winning lanes, and it takes a little bit of time to load it because you're sailing very long races, but that just gives you a long track of the first 3 boats, and it gives you a very good overview of where the leading boats they have been on the course, and it's a very good one to quickly look at. So here we see how the race course looked, and you even had a change of course on the second upwind. But yeah, you can compare it with yourself and top 3. I think the feature here is that you get a very long tail on the track. It can be a little bit messy if you're looking for details, but for the overview, then it's quite interesting to see, especially this one with your downwinds. That was quite given. There was no choices to be made there. Anyway, then I'll just jump back to the one called replay, because all of this comes from the same feature. Wait, I need to go like. All right. And I lost the internet, of course. There we go. I hope it catches up here. But all of these features that were pre-made, your starting analysis of the winning lanes, it actually comes from exactly the same page, the replay one, and you just need to press it yourself and open the different windows the same way. So if we take race 7 again, we go into the replay, and then this would be the start. Down here we have the time slider, and we can look into how the boats are doing on the first upwind, like this. You notice here the tail of the boat is quite short, and I think that's one feature I would like to show you. On the settings here on the wheel, you press that one, and then down here you have what is called boat tails, the length, and you can easily go for a value around 1,000, and then you'll see how the tails are extended on all the boats, and it's a little easier to see how the fleet is doing here. But yeah, we better get into some of the details and look at the boats we have up here and describe the races. Take race 8 instead, no problem. That was maybe a black flag that came into play there, right or wrong? All right. So yeah, I think what is an easy way if you are using this approach again with looking into the individual races, then you can as your time slider is going forward, then you can see the ranks on the different boats here, and you can look at the different values that we're not gonna get into now. One feature that I would like to show you is if I just take, what was it again? Where are we? Caron, where are you? Oh yeah, there you are. And Falcon. And where's Falcon here? Up. I'm blind apparently. Oh yeah, here we go. Then we can compare these two boats in this competitor chart. And down here on this wheel or the setting, then you can choose if you want to look at the gap. I don't like looking at the gap. It's seconds between the boats. If you like that, then it's fine. But I think a useful one is speed over ground. And then you can compare it with another parameter, and I think VMG. So the speed you're doing towards the mark is very useful. Then I always put this step size in second to 1, so that gives you the best resolution. And then I think it's a good idea to make this a default for you the next time you visit. Then you'll have this as the opening. So here we can look at the speed, and we can look at what VMG the two boats are going. And it's very hard to see something out of this because we have too much data. So luckily we can zoom in, and I think that's a feature that is nice to know. That if we look at an area like this where we have something happening, we can tell. Then I just press and mark a area, and then I'll zoom in on this area. So here we can look at the VMG and the speed, and I think it's quite useful to see how you're doing in the tags here. So of course you want to have a bottom speed in the tag that is as high as possible, but you also want to have if I just take the VMG out of here, I can just take that out. Then we can compare the tags that these two boats are doing, and I think it's obvious that there's a little higher bottom speed in one of the boats. That's Falcon. No, that's Caron with the tag in the middle, and Falcon with the first one and the second one. So the other thing is you can look at the slope. So the higher the slope is, the faster you're accelerating. And yeah, I had a quick look on some of the boats around the course, and it looks like it's not so consistent from tag to tag. And I think that's a good one to look through. That you can pinpoint some of the tags that might get improved a little bit. So. I think that was some of the tricks. You're very welcome to grab me if there's some issues with understanding this, and if you have some comments and you got some ideas where we can improve this, then you are very welcome to approach me later. And it's been fantastic to watch you guys on the water today, and really it's some beautiful boats you're racing, and I'm looking forward to some really great racing tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rasmus. As you said, you can, when you find a bad tag, you probably have a video camera on board, so you can actually go into that tag and actually see what happened on board. If you were releasing the Genoa too fast, or if you were steering too much, or. But if we go, I think we go quickly. There is a prize giving in short time, but I think we can go and have a look at the starts. So if you go here, this is the first start. We had a starboard advantage of 25 meters, but going to the left was probably more important than starting all the way up. If we take the next slide, we have the statistic, and as we have said all week, these boats goes around 3.5 meters per second. So when you see the distance to line at start, it looks like we have a new winner on closest to the start. No, you are the good winner on the closest to the start, Thijs, but we have one on the right side. It's Pandora with 1.7 meters. These are GPS, so the GPS, the tracker moves, and also the buoy moves, so it's not 100% accurate. I think if we go to the next one, we have upwind leg. These are the top 5 boats. All of them went left. Downwind, next slide. This is the stats for the upwind. Like Rasmus showed you, we have just copy-paste this directly out of the web page. So this is just paste into PowerPoint. We have the next slide. It's downwind, same as the other days. It's a speed race down to the gate with a small jibe in the end. Next slide is the stats. If we go to next upwind, there was a little bit more in the middle, but I think the leading boats, they went out to the left after the mark rounding and tacked into the course, and then back again to the left and ended out with left. We have the last downwind. No, this was the stats, but if we go to the next one, we have the last downwind. That was probably even more easy. It's a pure speed race with no maneuvers. And then I think we take the 2 last slides, which is the if you take one more, it's the start of race 8. We still if you go one back, here we have a port side advantage of 44 meters. So now the pin is favored and the left side is favored. So and the next slide is the boats that we have picked. And if we go to the track, the stats, they were a little further back at the start. That's probably why it was a black flag, if I'm correctly. And if you take the last slide, it's that was the last slide. Okay, like Rasmus said, this is something you can go into your phone, your pad, your laptop, and do this analysis yourself. We will have a new debrief tomorrow, and we will have the weather brief as well tomorrow morning. So now enjoy the prize giving and enjoy the night.